Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good evening, wherever else you are. And good afternoon, because in some places it could be. Welcome to Two Brits, America. Yes. It's a bit of a different one tonight because usually we're covering the big stories. And do you know what? There's a big story every bloody half hour. And America has taken over my life. Mark now cannot get past my headphones because I'm always listening to some unbelievable, gobsmackingly shocking new situation.
Hi, Judy.
Within 2.5 months, that country has been turned upside down.
88 days
inside
he's
out.
been in.
I
hasn't even hit his first 100.
Believe we have seen the birth. We have watched the birth of a dictator. It is totally incredible.
I disagree. I think we've merely seen the re-election of a wannabe dictator.
Listen,
I don't think anything.
Somebody said something.
Nothing is new about this.
Everything is new.
No, it's not.
We have never seen people being dragged off the street by mass. I'm talking about the new behaviours.
Nothing new about
the new behaviours, because the first time he was in, he was kind of jolly, couldn't quite believe his luck.
And also, he hadn't put really reliable people around him.
And now he's the most bitter. He's the meanest winner, because he did win.
Yeah.
But he acts like a loser. But anyway, so it's been a bit of a week just generally. So we thought, rather than go in for the big stories, of which I am fascinated by, the complete breakdown of the Constitution, well, not the complete, but the nibbling away and the pissing in the face of the Supreme Court and all of that.
And things like, even just this week, he's looking at how he can fire the head of the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. We are going to watch some clips of some pretty violent deportations. We're going to look at some stun gun footage around, what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Mm-hmm. Is that her name?
Can't stand her.
We've even got a clip about anti-Christian snitching. I mean, wherever you throw your cap, it lands on an outrageous and shocking clip. The one thing I would say, though, that has changed, we're not getting much Musk for our money, are we?
Musk has gone very quiet since he messed up that little election.
Since his wealth went down.
Did I say little election?
Thank you, Marjorie Trailer. Oh, Trailer Queen, as in trailer trash. I like it.
But also, I mean, the Wall Street Journal did an in-depth on Musk, and it is so shocking the way that what he believes in when he impregnates these women. Mark, I think he might be after a bit of a new master race.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Sliding into women's DMs, asking to borrow their womb. Unbelievable. And really, we have to be grateful to one woman who has thrown her NDA away. So otherwise we wouldn't be hearing, but we'll probably do a whole different thing on that, because it's a fascinating story.
News today. This is news today. Donald Trump studying if he can sack the Fed chief. But as you rightly say, me, Chief Acting Jerome Powell, who I think is a reasonable guy, actually, risks what market people in Wall Street are saying is an apocalyptic market reaction. So Trump then has to do what Trump does, which is, how can he get what he wants?
He's really, really
angry. How can I get what I want without being able to do the very thing that I want to do?
He's furious about this because he doesn't like anyone that says a single word against any of his plans.
No. Well, or he doesn't like anyone who's rational, reasonable, and just doesn't spout his nonsense. So what do you want to start with? We've got a smorgasbord of treats here and shocking tidbits and clips.
Why don't we start with that funny one?
I didn't understand this when you said. I've not understood this once.
Watch it.
Literally just got punched in the face for being a Trump supporter. Like, that was it. Just for being a Trump supporter. And I'd do it again. Bop, bop, bop. You guys, my dad literally just got punched in the face for being a Trump supporter. Like, that was it. Just for being a Trump supporter. And I'd do it again. Bop, bop, bop.
Right.
You guys, my
Okay.
This is turning families against each other. What didn't you get?
I literally didn't understand it at all. couldn't tell who she was satirizing. I thought she was
herself.
I didn't know whether she was satirizing her father or herself, or Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think some of the most shocking footage this week was the Marjorie Taylor Greene footage, wasn't it?
Well, we
Is
had
that
a
her name,
shocking one from her last week, didn't we? Do you remember with the pure unadulterated racism towards the British reporter?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had the instance where she was giving a talk, and town hall, and this is the footage of stun-gunned people dragged out, tasered.
By Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene in Cobb County, Georgia. At least 3 people were physically removed by police officers.
Are you really doing this? Stop.
Are you really doing this?
Stop. Are you really doing this?
Ackworth police said 3 people were arrested.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
You grabbed me.
Yes. Don't do this.
Human nature, if you know you haven't done anything wrong, you just resist. They tasered him, you know. Taser.
Officers used stun guns on at least 2 men as they tried to remove them from the building.
Oh.
It was not immediately clear what they and a woman removed from the event were protesting.
You can head out. The protest is outside. Thank you very much. Protest is outside.
The Congresswoman continued to address the town hall during and after the disruptions.
Protest is outside. Bye. Have fun out there.
Oh, she's so horrible.
Do these complete...
She's like a school bully.
She's one of the most repulsive individuals I think I've ever had the misfortune of
so
ever having
rude.
to watch anywhere on anything, speak about
And there are
anything.
serious accusations at the moment. Nothing is proven, of course,
of
her
manipulation.
Yeah.
Well, what? The fact that she sold $150,000 worth of stocks the day before and then bought
And then when
on
Trump
the dip,
tweeted, "Buy now, it's a good time to
she
buy."
bought 220,000.
Fact.
Why isn't anyone vaguely concerned about that? It's just she's utterly and also the problem here is, and this is a real problem for any opposition to these guys, is that she gains real satisfaction. You see that from her seeing the opposition and the protests.
These are people that are drunk on power,
twisted individuals
on power, that totally believe they're the smartest, most gifted people on the planet.
What is wrong with them?
Complete megalomania. It's a cult. It's a total cult.
I want to play this clip that you sent me, Nads, which is about this guy talking about
Do we have a lighter one?
shopping in. There aren't any. I mean, we've got Melania Trump.
I sent you some light stuff.
Oh yeah, we've got fun. How's this the funny? Yeah, funny moments. Got Melania.
Christmas. Oh, that's a nice one. I ask Santa for Christmas, peace on the world, health.
Peace on the world, hell.
Santa for Christmas. Oh, that's a nice one. I ask Santa for Christmas, peace on the world, health.
That's exactly what he's done. He's pissed all over the
world. I mean, it's incredible.
Oh, this is when Donald Trump. Watch the way he completely blanks. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Cheryl Hines, who I didn't realize was RFK Jr.'s partner.
It's pretty crazy. It's insane.
And you know,
there's got to be a reason.
Where's his backbone? Do you know what I mean? So, excuse me, mate. Why have you just walked past my wife like that?
Who? RFK.
He laughs, and she apparently was like this to him, and he just laughs it off. You know.
Why do you think he did that with her? She's obviously said something about it. She's probably said he shouldn't talk about pussy or something, and he's like, oh, well.
No, I mean, there was a lot of comments from angry Dems about her, so I don't know if she was a Dem that turned. I don't know. Because I mean, he was, wasn't he? He was running for the Dems, wasn't he?
Would you say
oh, this is with Italy's Giorgia Meloni. This is hysterical.
When was this?
This was today.
It's never said.
the European?
Have you said that Europeans are parasites? Yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't said. I don't know.
He didn't say it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Go ahead, please.
I think he did.
He did say.
I think he did say we were parasites.
Yeah. He said a lot of things about us. He hates us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the comedian. Is this the same comedian that we saw this morning?
Yes, he's great. He does so many.
So
no, I was just trying to remember his name.
Right.
He does so many brilliant
Impersonations. Yeah, he did one this morning of Starmer and Matthew McConaughey.
But he does a great Trump, so let's have a look.
This is my impression of Donald Trump talking about tariffs and everybody kissing his ass. You know what? My tariffs are so beautiful that they could walk a runway in Milan. China are crying. Germany are hyperventilating into their bratwurst. And France, of course, are waving the white flag of parley, which I believe is Spanish. You know, they're all lining up to kiss my ass, and it's a great ass. Everybody says it's an American ass. You know, all the different countries, they're all lined up like this. And they're all connected like a human centipede straight into my ass to kiss it. And it's beautiful. You know, it's very beautiful. I just spat. You know, all the dirty liberals and woke people are saying, didn't you bankrupt a casino? But let me tell you, I wanted to show the American people what rock bottom looked like so that we could bounce straight back. And you know what? I really did bounce back like a falling, graceful bald eagle. And we love the bald eagle, don't we, folks? You know, I'm one of the only few presidents who can curse on air and tell countries to kiss my ass. But let me tell you, I use other naughty words too. You know, I use words like shit. And also, Putin would be a great fuck. I said that. No, wait, I said, no, I didn't. No, excuse me. I said, Putin should fuck off. Putin.
I could have just asked, just using that as a springboard, who genuinely thinks, and still people are trying to say, he was bullied into the backing down over the tariffs because of the bond market. Now, yes, there's a truth that the bond market was lurching, about to go completely insane into meltdown. That was going to, but I genuinely don't believe he was bullied by the markets into a climb down.
I think he did. I think he played with the markets.
Thank you, Charlene Evans. Your impression is better. Bless you, very kind. But I keep seeing it in more and more publications. They keep going on about the idea that he was frightened.
I don't think he was frightened for a second.
Does anyone think he was frightened? He was, says MeTube. Japan and others were selling off US debt. But he clearly market manipulated MeTube. Are you sort of assuming that, or suggesting that he didn't?
He's so hubris. He's so narcissistic. He has such everything. He's got everything, hasn't he? Superiority complex. He just, like the way he says, cool down, just cool down. And Scaramucci said that's what he, you know, it's to say to people just cool down when there was such disaster, such imminence.
He did for sure. You see, I think it's an easy argument for those who don't want to deal with the unpalatable truth
that he played
the markets good and proper, just as he did. Though no one talks about it at all.
All about insider trading.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. In his first presidency, people have just got wise to it, and people aren't really it's almost like people don't want to get on board with it, but it's true. But this is another quote about him wanting to deport homegrown crimps.
Now he got caught on a hot mic.
But he says it out loud here.
Yeah, he got but he had said. Do you remember when you said, "Oh, nobody's picked up on it here in the UK"?
Not on the hot mic moment, but this is him just saying it to the press.
But and then it went sort of quiet. So then he's doubled
down on it
because he can't be caught out on anything. He was caught out. He was on a hot mic.
Oh, this is him trying to course correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm fine with saying it.
Gotcha.
So he was talking to the El Salvadorian revolting dictator, and he was saying, he's actually said on the hot mic, yeah, do the homegrown one next. You're gonna have to build 5 more of those prisons, 5 more of those hellhole concentration camps.
Well, let's have a listen to what he said when he was asked a question by the press.
Pay for those facilities to be opened if new ones were going to be built.
I'd do something. We'd help them out. Yeah, we help them. They're great facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the...
Hang on, he's still coming out of the ark. Is he characterizing a criminal as a man with a baseball bat hitting an elderly woman over the back of the head? I think that kind of crime happened. Last time that happened was in Benny Hill.
No, but why he's talking in that way is he wants to appeal to MAGA. He wants to appeal to people that are going to go, just like. So, because he knows he'll lose anyone that's actually not in the cult. Anyone not in the cult knows what he's doing.
But
the brilliant thing was today that this judge that's come out, and they say, you know, everyone that's been commenting on it on all the podcasts and everything, saying they've never seen a document like this, a 6-page document on the bulwark. You know, that crazy lawyer on there, he was literally crying and humming the anthem. Nice. Because he said, here is due process, here is America.
Right.
She has given a 6-page bollocking
yes.
to them all, saying you cannot think that you can just take people off the street, Americans, no due process, and throw them in our prisons. I mean, and she is saying you need to adhere to what the court is saying regards this one particular person. Now, there's many of them in this jail that have been taken to El Salvador, 263, I think. But I know they're focusing on this one case at the moment, this chap. We say he must be brought back. And every day, the administration at 5 o'clock have to go and explain what they've been doing to bring him back. And every day at 5 o'clock, they've gone in, the lawyers have gone in, and they've said, we've got nothing to say, and nothing's changed. So apparently what's going to happen is they will be going to prison within the administration, lawyers, because it's contempt of court. But it doesn't mean there is no further steps she can take to enforce bringing that man back.
I'd like to see them, if they can't get the man brought back, I'd like to see them arrest and then prosecute members of his legal team.
Well, the lawyer that I watch on
presumably
YouTube,
they will blink at that point.
He was saying that is as far as it will go. And I suppose
Judy, who's in America, says the MAGAs are all against due process now. Yeah, it's the craziest thing.
So she was saying that, wasn't she, Judy? She was saying if whatever somebody's done, they have to have due process. Otherwise, we have no law now. Yeah. What these guys that know were saying was that, yes, that's what they want. You know, the administration want to break down law and order, but not quite yet. It's a bit early.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think I must have heard the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, as Donald Trump says there in that previous clip prior to that one, where he says, I mean, you know, the way he says it, we've got to observe these fucking laws. I mean,
we're looking for the law to see if we can send the homegrown.
I've heard a number of observers state that it's too early for, as Reese says, the heat and the sweat of the summer that will kick in and the discontent will rise. Now, believe me, just look to these moments, like those guys who were tasered and rushed out of the Marjorie Taylor thing. What you saw in her face is the satisfaction that this entire presidential team will have when crowds and riots start to flare up in the streets. They want that to happen. They want the tinderbox to kick off.
I feel so sorry.
Just as an update on
the army and the police that are going to have to be in the middle of all this.
Well, I don't feel so sorry for the police when you see most of them dealing with most people.
Some of them.
Yeah, but huge swathes of the New York police force wear bloody Israeli flags on there. Trump administration live. This is the New York Times says that the senator says Maryland deportee, this is the chap who, you know, that we're talking about, is no longer in the notorious Salvadoran prison. He has been moved into isolation in another detention center.
God knows what he's going
I suppose that in itself will be the government's answer to the session you're saying. They'll be able to say, well, we've moved him.
But also El Salvador will be a little bit worried in case they do actually give him back, and he can't be dead by then.
Right, yes. In further news, this is quite funny. Trump's second state visit. I just wanted to show this because for any Americans here, Judy, do know that there is huge opposition in this country.
Oh, massive.
There was huge opposition to his first state visit, and I don't know if you remember it. It caused quite a bit of upset. At the time, I seem to remember us talking about on Coffee Moaning us needing to step carefully because we didn't know how recriminatory he was. Trump's second state visit, The Guardian's reporting, to be disrupted by even bigger protests. Stop Trump coalition to dust off the blimp of him in a nappy, and they hope that demonstrations will surpass those during US President's 2019 visit. Well, how do you think he'll react to this? That's basically a giant balloon of Donald Trump wearing a nappy. If there are even bigger demonstrations, he's so vengeful, he could punish the entire country.
I'm sure they'll swerve him around it.
Do you think?
He doesn't see it, yeah.
Can we play this clip that you sent me about the guy who said that people are being asked to snitch on each other for anti-Christian?
Listen to this.
Listen to this.
The State Department is now telling its employees to start reporting one another for, quote, anti-Christian bias. No, I'm not kidding. This new directive within the State Department, according to Politico, is done to be in line with the Trump administration's recent executive order in an effort to root out anti-Christian bias in the United States of America. According to an official who spoke with Politico, this is Handmaid's Tale-esque, given the fact that employees are now being encouraged to root out and turn in fellow employees who exhibit this anti-Christian bias. It's unclear what that means, however. And the State Department will collect these reports of anti-Christian bias through anonymous report forms that each employee will be allowed to submit. The State Department is led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio and must be in compliance with the Trump administration's executive orders. And well, that's happening right now. I'll do a full breakdown on what this all means on my Substack, so be sure to subscribe.
Unbelievable.
So anonymous forms going in describing anti-Christian behavior. This is the kind of data. This is the kind of data gathering we need to all shit ourselves about.
Yeah.
I just want to share Judy's comment. It's really important. Thank you. We just want you guys to know that there are many more of us here that don't support him.
Absolutely. And what we're seeing in the town halls, Judy, is very reassuring.
Oh, shall we show that? That's an incredibly powerful.
But there's loads of town halls with people going.
But the one you sent earlier today, yeah.
This woman.
I was born in Springfield and I've lived here most of my life. I can't believe these Haitian immigrants would come here and fill jobs that local Springfield residents would not or could not do.
This is it. Most people don't realize.
Now they've raised the average city wage for both Springfield and Clark County. They're paying income tax to the city that the city desperately needs for services.
Immigrants, including undocumented workers in the United States, where there is really good data, pay tax.
They're making some of the local losers look bad by their example. It's unbelievable. The Haitian immigrants are working overtime to save up money to buy up all the dilapidated, condemned, and boarded up homes in Springfield, then fixing those houses up to make them livable
There it is, gentrification of the houses.
This is raising property values.
Raising property values.
Across the city and county to the point where the valuation of all real estate in the city surpassed $1 billion last year for the first time ever. This in turn increases the property taxes paid to Clark County for those homes that are now no longer boarded up nuisances. I can't believe they're helping to fund our government and beautify our neighborhoods. These Haitian immigrants are now spending money in our community to where new restaurants and retail spaces keep opening up across the city. What absolute madness. Now we have new businesses in town generating more tax revenue for our city and county. I have a good paying job with great benefit, but because I have main character syndrome.
Because I have main character syndrome. Every time I hear her say that, it's just like, chef's kiss.
I want the exorbitant benefits that some of these Haitian immigrants get.
And the rest of the audience just laughing, smoking. Brilliant.
Which is $292 per SNAP, aka food stamps, and $363 in cash per month for a single adult. Everyone knows that $655 per month lets you live like a millionaire in Springfield. I don't need it, but I want it before anyone else, because why should we help folks who have legally come to our country, but they have to wait for their work permit so they don't starve? Feeding the hungry in our community? This is lunacy.
I love this video. The video itself says a masterclass in satire. And I actually think it's cleverer than that, because the audience she's talking to, I don't know, would have got satire. But the way she listed off the tropes and stereotypes around immigrants and at every stage showed the positive impact. Wonderful.
Really?
Judy, tomorrow, April 19th, there's a nationwide protest. I'll be out with by many signs. Hopefully we'll get even more than the 5 million that came out on April the 5th. Can I just ask you a question, Judy? And obviously you might take you a moment to answer this. Can I also ask any other Americans who are, you know, in opposition to or, you know, disappointed and frustrated with Donald Trump, you know, do you feel, given the extent to which he's tried to, you know, clamp down on protest and, you know, free speech, and he's manufactured who's got access in terms of the press to the White House and all that kind of stuff, do you feel slightly threatened? Do you feel worried about being identified or doxxed? Are you worried about repercussions? I'm just curious to know whether that thread of fear has really successfully landed yet. SDFS.
No, who's supportive of the
Trump
president.
is a great president. The people voted for him, and we will be better off.
And of course, many of you feel that.
Yeah.
And you know, the last thing we want is for the fears to be realised. But what we are seeing day in, day out is very scary.
Look at this, young forever, not know, as in feeling threatened or potentially, you know, recriminatory actions could happen against you, but maybe I should be worried. Look at this that Judy's just said, not yet. but I turn my Face ID off my phone when I go to protest. So that
you have done
so that
before,
they can't force.
you
Yeah,
see?
that's no, I don't think you would.
It's
have done,
interesting,
Judy.
isn't
I think
it?
that's
How
what you're saying.
because it doesn't happen suddenly, does it? And it's I mean, though this has been very, very bloody sudden.
Donna Powell, I had these clips earlier. There was too much music beneath them, but I have seen these clips. They're great. Trump has ironically done more good for China's image and reputation. Has anyone been watching the videos coming out from China that are taking the piss, making fun of him in America?
The AI videos.
Well, there's the AI ones, but also lots of Chinese influencers have come out and blown the cover on so many brands in America that purport to be honest brands made in America or Europe, and they just aren't.
Yeah, I mean, and there seems to have been some sort of gentleman's agreement between China and America that the people that do make these big brands, that they would keep it secret. And then China said, okay, with all the tariffs, guess what? It's not a secret anymore.
Judy, wow, look at this. Thank you for these contributions. That's why our black friends are staying home. Because as soon as they come out, Trump will use that as an excuse to get violent.
Oh my
Jesus Christ, Judy! The fact that you can say that as it must be heartbreaking to be able to write.
That's what I thought. I thought, imagine being a person of color in America at the moment.
Shocking.
And even to be gay. That's what I'm worrying about next.
Farida R, I've seen people advice here for anyone that speaks out about having a number of a lawyer easily accessible for your own protection.
But the terrifying thing is we've seen people being arrested and the lawyers on the phone and them just not even telling them what they're being arrested for.
MeTube mentions it. I also subclipped just the title. Donald Trump is being rejected by tourists and it could cost £68 billion. Tourists around the world seem to be choosing other holiday destinations.
Well, it's funny.
This is a sizable amount of money, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I think this is the kind of thing that could bring about change. Unfortunately, that will amount to 0.3% of their gross domestic product.
But what about those individual businesses that will be affected directly? I know just if you look at the whole amount, but there's going to be many businesses that will take a big punch. I mean, isn't it almost 1 million Canadians that haven't gone in as well? I mean, everybody I've spoken to, and don't forget, he's only been in a couple of months. So people are finding out. But I mean, I haven't spoken to a single person that hasn't said to me, oh, I won't be going to America as long as he's in. Yeah. And so it's going to build and build and build that, isn't it? It's just the beginning.
I just want to show you these two clips. They're very shocking. They're two individual attempts to, you don't see the literal deportation. These are people being absconded who are undocumented migrants or alleged undocumented migrants. I just want to play this just to give you a kind of sense of the visceral nature of what people who are undocumented migrants in America potentially face.
I can't watch it.
Undocumented Guatemalan man was arrested by federal agents after they smashed his car window. Cell phone video shows Juan Francisco Menendez and his wife surrounded by federal agents after being pulled over in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Francisco Menendez called his lawyer for help, and she told the couple to hand the agents her business card and tell them she was on her way. A federal agent is heard telling the couple in Spanish that they can either do it the, quote, easy way or the hard way before threatening to smash the car window. Minutes later, video shows an agent smash Francisco Menendez's car window with a hammer.
These aren't violent people. Why do you do that?
Francisco Menendez's lawyer says he qualifies for derivative asylum and has no criminal record. His wife says he's now being held at an ICE detention center in Dover, New Hampshire. CNN reached out to ICE for more information, but has not heard back.
Now, watch this one. Not just watch the guy who gets caught up in this. Have you seen this? This is, they tried to arrest a Venezuelan man. Watch this old man walking. Knocking down an elderly man. Literally zero awareness.
Nobody helps him.
Compassion. Consideration. Look, the man is down and screaming. They're turning up and they're just detaining people.
At least the masks have stopped now. Mark
It's so
thing was
sinister.
really horrible.
We have got some historic in other news tonight. I'm not going to play Marco Rubio because he's just horrendous. But it looks like, and this is really interesting. I mean, we have ADHD, so I'm not saying this. If you want proof of an ADHD approach to solving Ukraine, and I don't mean this, we have ADHD, so I'm throwing us under the bus here, but it seems like it's just too complicated and taking too long. So Rubio's made an announcement saying, we don't think we can help. We don't think we can solve it. We think we need to back out. He's basically said that. That's what this bit of sync is.
They're just going to...
So they're essentially saying, unless it happens in the next 24 hours, we don't think we've got the stomach or the energy or the effort.
Because he had no real plan.
No real plan.
He was showing off before he got in. He was saying, yeah, in 24 hours, I'll get Ukraine and Russia sorted out. Now he couldn't get Ukraine and Russia sorted out in 24 hours. He's throwing a strop.
You really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana?
What will people think?
Let them talk. Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large.
I remember that.
I want to be conversely do two things now. I want to vomit, but
and
also
I want a pizza.
Yeah, a good clip to end on, I think. I wish I could go to England, Judy says, since my grandparents were born there, but unfortunately there's no grandparent visa. No. Fabian Starr will end badly for him. Republican Carl Rove says Americans are already tired of Trump. Republicans could rue the day they set a new justification for retaliation from the Democrats. You know what, Fabian Starr, one thing I am hoping for, and I have heard this suggested too, that it's a strategy that the Democrats are staying silent, that they are just trying to let it, the old adage, give them enough rope and they will eventually hang themselves. I think that's one of the arguments that the Democrats are using. I still don't think that kind of gives you a compelling reason to vote for them.
Battles, aren't they? I mean, Harvard are the first university that's refused to bend the knee, the first big corporation, and it just needs.
But he's just removed about $1 billion worth of funding.
Fear itself, that's a really scary situation. People have to be braver than they're being. There's very little bravery. But now they're saying they're going to not allow them to have any foreign students. I mean, talking about that is like listening to China.
They've also removed their tax exemption with the IRS. And he's removed actively something like $750 million. I mean, he's basically willing.
They're cutting down all the.
He's willing to kill Harvard.
This is what I don't understand. Right, J.D. Vance went to a very good, an Ivy League, didn't he? And he's written a book, and he's he was thought to be very smart at university. And he's making all these speeches about how the universities are like filth, basically. Science, I mean, they've shut down.
But
science
like with the Israelis, what you do is you try and neuter the ability for critical thinking, and you target. So he can be the product of these institutions, and at the same time actually recognize that if they exist, these institutions, there will be more opposition. If they kneecap and completely hobble places like Harvard, regardless of what you think about Ivy League, universities, the cost, whether it is only just really a sort of processing plant for the extraordinarily rich, wealthy, and already privileged, right, got you. But if you start to get rid of all the abilities and all the institutions that encourage and promote critical thinking, that's a strategy. That is a strategy. That's a long-term cultural strategy. I've said it for so many years. The dumbing down of Western society was something I was petrified about 20 years ago, and it is happening at pace. And the sad frustration and truth of this is the vast majority of people, not for necessarily unreasonable reasons, aren't interested. And what happens if you're not interested and not engaged is your rights become eroded. So don't be surprised when you turn around and go, oh, why don't we actually ask questions about anything anymore? Because they'll have removed all the,
But that's how you control people, isn't it? Keep people just under the breadline, keep people uneducated, keep people fearful, keep people divided from other people, keep communities broken and antagonistic to each other, and you have control. It's evil.
No,
that's
you can't.
true evil.
No, Mitchub, you can't hobble Harvard precisely. You're beginning to sound a little bit like a Trump apologist. But it would hobble the ability of those that Harvard supports who don't come from wealthy, non-diverse backgrounds. I mean, the very thing that everyone's running around going, diversity is evil, diversity is evil. You know, it will hobble that side of it for sure. He will hobble the ability of Harvard to generate any slim, albeit slim and marginal, opportunities for those few who can come through of any alternate color, race, creed, or
Where was it that Scaramucci and Katia Kay were talking about with their science university? Where was it? And they said it's almost, it's like a hospital. It's like a massive sized hospital. People are like treated there. That's shut down. I mean, Boston, I think it was Boston.
Wow. Mitchub says Harvard has a $52 billion endowment. Wow. Well, that makes the $1 billion that they're removing look like tiny bits, doesn't it?
Wow.
A republic, if you can keep it, as Benjamin Franklin once said. Yeah. Anyway, it is really important for people like Judy and others in the room here that you know, we do recognize and hear that there are many millions of you over there that are horrified. And as rightly a number of you have said here, Mitchub and some others, you know, there are many Republicans who are increasingly do. I mean, how do you think it's gonna unravel? Do you think he's going to push for breakdown, civil breakdown?
Well, I mean, all the writing on the wall is appalling and awful and dreadful. You know, listening to the smart people that we do on it all depends if the army will be on the side of him or the side of the law. And he's getting rid of the generals that are there that believe in the Constitution.
What do you
because
guys
we're
think?
already at the point where there's nothing more the judge can do to get that person back, and yet the judge has told the administration that man has to come back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So we're already at that point. What's going to happen next?
Do you think civil war? Do you think he wants it to get to riots in the streets?
I really do. I mean, I watched a little documentary on CNN of the January 6th folk as they were coming out of the prison, and it was petrifying how they were talking. Complete impunity to do whatever they want is what they feel now.
Here we go, Reese Roberts.
Why did he do
martial law this summer? I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because once there's martial law, once there's an invasion, he has complete authority.
He's going for civil breakdown, full authoritarianism.
Shame on these Republicans. Shame on them.
And the Democrats.
Because behind the closed doors, there are so many of them that know that he's nosediving the country.
Mitchub,
well,
what do you think?
What do you think too,
Mitchub? What do you think? What do you think the end game is, Mitchub? For him, your pragmatism usually sees a sort of less sinister end sometimes. Judy, we have to get him impeached and his cabinet arrested, removed. Red label confession and reactions. America truly is on the brink of a civil war. The America we knew is collapsing in front of our eyes. Are you red label confession and reactions? Are you American? Are you in America? Nora Doyle, America will turn on itself. Brace yourself. Wherever you live, that's what you think.
But also, years ago, we all watched, didn't we? Many of us watched that film, The Social Experiment. No, what was it? With all the social media guys talking. And
YouTube sees the SCOTUS holding up law. 2/3 of Americans didn't vote for him. I don't see that happening.
What was the film I was just trying to remember? The film that was all the social media, the top social media guys that they were talking to. It was a brilliant film. Social, Anyway, it's late. We're tired. But and then right at the end, each one of them was from Facebook. No, not the movie. It was a documentary. And each one of them from each one of the big, platforms. What do you feel? And it was really well edited. They
Social Dilemma.
They cut back from 4, and every one of them said civil war. And at that time, it's civil war in America, that they knew exactly what was coming, and they knew what part they had played in it. They knew what part with those algorithms, when somebody clicks on something and then somebody's echo chamber validates over and over and over and over again their own madness, you know, the cult.
I hope they we need the military to hold their oaths to the Constitution.
But apparently, you'd know more about this, guys, Americans. Apparently he's one by one getting rid of the generals that would have been the ones that would have upheld.
Yeah.
Because, of course, within the army, within the police, he has many supporters. So,
Red Label, you can literally log on to social apps and they're pushing their right-wing agenda, even if you aren't following politics. Yeah.
Those algorithms, they're very, very dangerous.
You
know what Scaramouche said the other day? He said he thinks it's perfectly possible that Elon Musk could go back to the Democrats. And then guess what Scaramouche said? He said they should open the door and welcome him back in. No matter what he's done, what he's said, get him back.
He's just been a very naughty boy.
The enormous power that he has with that fucking not Truth Social.
Yeah, Elon Musk has definitely been knocked sideways, hasn't he? He's obviously experienced the horror.
And now all this stuff has come out about the baby machines. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, look, it's late. We'll see you.
Thank you for staying up with us late.
We'll
Sorry
see you
we were
for
late.
The Curly Cooks. Saturday moaning, and it's Saturday tomorrow, isn't it?
So Saturday moaning papers, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, the Curly Cooks of Croydon.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go to bed. So good night to all
Sleep
of you.
tight.
Sleep tight. Bye.